Oh, that light is bright because I just recharged them. Oh yeah, black sun in the hizzle. Oh, for shizzle dizzle. We got an excellent show here today or this evening. Um, we're waiting on Trevor. We're waiting on Zanzi. We're waiting on Empress. We're waiting on MD20. I think that's everybody that we're waiting on. So, yeah. So Trevor had some questions. There's Zanzi. Okay. Booyah. Zanzi was good. Was good.
Hey, what's up?
Hey man. You man. You man. So I had to do an emergency broadcast tonight because Trevor had some issues with the Queen of England. So I'm just gonna state the facts because I know you and Empress stated some facts, even though you and Empress don't agree with the Queen of England, but stated some facts. So we just gonna keep.
Wait, what's her opinion?
No. She says okay. So Empress says she's no fan of England, but she acknowledges that the House of Windsor acknowledged when a slave came to England. If you own that slave and they step footage on the English ground, they were declared free. That's what the House of Windsor did for black people
Oh,
here in
so
America.
so you she okay, but so Empress lives in the UK, right? Or
She lives in the UK. Yeah, yeah.
right?
She lives in the
So
UK.
and she have reverence for Queen.
No. She doesn't. No. She says she has no love for the Queen,
She has
but
no.
she.
I don't like the Queen either, so I
I
think
know.
we
I
agree.
know. I know. And so that's why I said, okay, you and her be perfect, and that's why I asked you about Alberta, Canada, because I said you guys will state the facts from the region. Oh shoot, my hold on, my
Oh,
internet.
because you said that we didn't have the same opinion on the Queen, but if we both don't like her, we're
No. I'm sorry. I think you misunderstood.
oh
No. I'm
that's
saying you and Empress are my sources because this guy came in talking about, well, what did the Queen do for black people? Blah blah blah. So I said, well, and it's funny because I was going to use a source and I was going to use another English source. You remember Dazzle, but Empress stepped in and was like, no, Black Sun is correct. And you came in and and acknowledged the part about Alberta, Canada. It was
I don't know anything about acknowledging anything about Alberta, Canada. What I said
okay.
when I said anything on the subject was that when slavery was abolished in the U.S., right? That's in 1865, I think.
Okay.
Uh, Canada wasn't even a country yet. Canada became a country in 1867. So
Okay.
whatever happened. Um, Before 1867, well, it wasn't really Canadian politics, right? It was either the different colonies that were starting to appear out west, like in Alberta,
Mm-hmm.
or well, nowadays Alberta. Back then, not sure what the name would have been. Most likely
Okay.
something along the line of Alberta. But the right, the
Well, then what you're
whatever
saying is
happened
there was
after.
no. I'm talking about pre-slavery. I'm talking about okay during slavery before
Yeah,
we.
Canada wasn't a thing then.
Okay, so because you know a lot of slaves were traveling up there.
Yeah, well, they were going back. They were going to the British colonies.
Thank you, and that's all I was saying.
Oh,
That
okay.
okay, so right. So that's what I was saying. Hey, and Yami, peace to you, brother. I was saying, and I was trying to line up Canadian history with British history. This is something that, and a lot of people get this misnomer. A lot of slaves here in the U.S. were traveling to New York. No, they were trying to go to what is now known as Canada because the provinces or what parishes was under uh, and that's why I need her on the show because so the queen is part of what they call the House of Windsor. It was the house
That's her
before
family name, if you will.
right, her family name. So it was the family before that, the prior family
Oh,
that
the ones
abolished.
that weren't German.
Yeah, that was George Washington and all them. Yeah, King George.
Yeah, I don't know, but I know that the House of Windsor is basically of German descent, right? So
Yeah, and so was the one before that too, right? Because I know
I'm
George
not sure. I
was that
don't know British history enough for that. I just know that that's what
Empress.
some part of the British nationals kind of reproach to the to this part of the royal family, that they're basically not even British, that they're German. But
Right, right, right. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's a whole nother topic. That's a whole nother. I
yeah.
mean, we can address that too. That how that Elizabeth from the House of Windsors are actually Germans. I mean, yeah, we could acknowledge that also. I just know. I guess might have been under Queen Victoria that if I was a plantation owner, right, and I just so happen to travel to England, my slaves were released. Or if I go up to that province where up north in Canada, what is now known as Canada, those slaves were released because it was under the uh, that royal family at that time.
No,
MD,
I
what's
don't know.
going
I don't
on?
know exactly how that works, right? I mean, if you come here and
Yes.
you don't interact really with anybody that reports you, and you get your slaves with you, and you manage to come back with your slaves to wherever you're from, right?
Uh
Then
huh.
your slaves didn't get freed, because at any point they weren't under the scrutiny of the authorities, right? So I'm guessing that. Uh, no, I'm just saying it's not automatic when you cross the border. Your slaves are free. I would imagine it would require some intervention of from some kind of authority, right?
So you saying during the time of slavery there was no authority in Canada, like like I don't know, like soldiers or some type of
Oh
constable?
yeah, no, they sure there were. It's
Okay,
just
so
it wasn't the same kind of border patrol or border control that we have today, right?
right, right.
So it was much easier, I think, to get around without like bribing people and having your right. I don't know. I wasn't there at that time,
Right,
and
right.
that's not a part of history. I'm just launching hypotheses here.
Okay, okay. Got you. All right. Hey, what up? What up? What up? MD. What up? Trevor. What up? What up? Shit, you guys are here, man.
Peace,
Here. Hey,
Peace. How you
peace,
doing,
peace.
man?
doing good.
Hey, what you guys can hear me?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yep. Real
Mm-hmm.
good. Yep.
I can't really stay on long because daddy duties, and plus my wife she's doing a live stream tonight.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Cool, cool.
I just, I'm gonna be on for about 30-40 minutes, but I just wanted to say something before I lose my train of thought. Peace, Zanzi. I never formally met you.
Well, very nice to meet you too.
All
I've
right, all
heard
right.
you a couple times on the panel.
Hey, what's up, MD?
Peace. What's going on, man?
All right. Hey, Black Son, what I said, I just wanted to clear something up because you your stream the other day, the other day was in regards to Sister Noble
Yeah.
about the Queen.
Right.
And granted, I didn't hear everything, but I heard you say that because of the Queen paid for your education and stuff like that. So and and I don't feel no way about the Queen regardless, but it was just like I just want to know, like, the way you were basing the stream, the way it sounded like, and then I went and watched Sister Noble's video. And let
Yeah.
me preface this by saying this: I don't know Sister Noble, so I'm not trying to attack her.
Okay.
So I know a lot of people think that if you mention their name or something they say, that you're trying to start beef with them. I don't do internet beef.
Right, right, right,
I'm a
right.
grown up. So, but I'm just saying, I went and watched her video, and so I want to get clarity from you. It sounds like, because you just kept saying, "Oh, I'm going to defend her when she's right. I'm going to defend her when she's right." What
Mhm.
about what she said was right?
That the Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth, the House of Windsor, was not involved in slavery. So she did.
So okay,
Yeah.
okay. So let me because this her exact words, because I wrote it. I
Okay.
wrote it down. She said that she has never participated in the slave trade, her
Right.
personally, which is okay. That's cool. Um, so if she has never participated in the slave trade, and we can't put that on her personally, then how can you now turn around and give the House of Windsor credit on her behalf?
I don't.
Like, because I always hear you say, you're like, oh yeah, from the House of Windsor,
Right.
They did this for the slaves and allowed them to go to Canada and this and that. What did they
Mhm.
do? What did they do for people here though?
No, the people here traveled up north to Canada because under the Queen, the house, well, under the Queen or whatever, it was actually a house before that. That's why I wanted what's her name to come on there. They said if basically if okay, let's just say I'm a plantation owner here. If I went to England, my slaves were set free. Same thing in Canada because they own the province Alberta, Canada. Same thing up there. If they were able to find out that you had a slave, they did that. People could say they did that in spite of what America, this and that. The point is that they did it for the people here in America.
But what I'm trying to understand, Blackstone, because I'm kind of confused by what you're just saying right now.
Okay.
Uh, are you saying that when, let's say, a plantation owner that lived in Mississippi decided to go on a holiday in England,
Yes.
his slaves back in Mississippi would be set free?
No, 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 no. If he
No,
brought that
okay, yeah,
slave with him,
okay,
a lot of people
yeah,
from
okay. Those
different,
that are with him, if they
yeah,
get accosted and some authorities realize that they are slaves, all
yeah,
right. No, that's true. Yeah.
All right. So my other thing, and again, I'm not attacking no. I
yeah, yeah.
just because I went back and I just start watching a couple of her videos, and there
Right,
seems to
right.
be a reoccurring theme with her.
No, no,
And
no,
maybe
no,
you'll
Trevor.
clear.
That's why I said I will agree with what she said. Right, that particular video.
Okay,
So
okay,
you're saying that's right. That's right. Yeah. So I said
because
I'm gonna.
you seem to know where I'm going here, because to me it
Right.
doesn't
Oh yeah,
seem
yeah, yeah. Trust me. Oh,
like
I
she's
know.
too she's too fond of black people, and every time, and it's like, and this is what bothers me
And I'm not gonna
is
back. I'm not gonna back anything that is said that is not true. Now there were some things in that particular, like I said, we just dealing with the Queen of England. I'm not dealing with no other videos. I'm dealing with the Queen of England. Rest in peace. That video,
because
she said some
because
things.
her
Okay.
no, go ahead. No, her saying in that same video, she says again, verbatim from what she said, she
Mhm.
has done more. She has done more than most of you niggas have ever done in your miserable lives. I'm like,
I
I'm
mean,
like,
yeah,
come on,
that's
man.
extra. Yeah, that's extra. No, 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 no. Trevor, I agree. I agree with you on that. A lot of stuff be extra, but I was just pointing out the particulars that she was not sure on as far as like I said, as far as dealing with Queen Elizabeth. Like I said, under her reign, and during when I say her reign, and I'm also speaking of her family crest, which is the House of Windsor, and the one before that. If slaves during, like I said, during slavery, and I was a plantation owner, I went over there in England. They found out that slave was set free. Same with Canada. That and she extended that to Alberta, Canada. That's all I was saying.
But
Now all the
okay,
extra
and this
stuff,
my
yeah, I get all that. All the extra stuff, I know how. I know.
this,
Trust me.
this my last thing though, because I don't
Okay.
want to take over the panel.
No, 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 you
If
good. You good. I'm glad we clearing this up because I mean, yeah, like I said,
but
I knew, guys. I said in the video, she's gonna get a lot of heat for that. I said she's gonna get a lot of heat for that. You know what I'm saying? Because I
because
know the
my
extra stuff that was said, but like I said,
yeah,
there are particular facts that she wasn't like. I can clear up the facts, is what I'm saying. I got her back on some of the factual stuff that she was not articulating in that video, and I'm saying that like I said, the slavery thing is true. That is true, and in fact, England had a lot to play the part of why. I mean, it was a lot of factors, but being Canada was right over New York in the north of America, that played a big part also. So what I'm saying is that yeah, the freeing of slaves, there was a contribution there too. Why the whole Civil War even started, and why the North felt a certain way because they were getting pressured, but it was a whole social thing. And so yeah, but
eh,
slaves were, and not only in America but in Persia, um, parts of North Africa and Arabia, whoever it was, India. If they had slaves, they went to England. They were being set free.
would you say that in every person there's some good though? Like So
Oh
for every
yeah,
bad
yeah.
person, there's a. So do you are you okay with admitting that some people may have liked Hitler? And I know I'm going to the
Oh,
extreme
absolutely. Yeah.
here, but
No, no, no. That's not extreme. This is the
so,
arena, man. That's not extreme.
well,
Yeah, yeah,
no, well,
yeah.
I say this to say this though. Like if some
You
people
know,
may have like some people may have like Hitler, and
Jesse Owens like
we
Hitler.
know what he did.
Jesse Owens was
Um,
cool with Hitler.
I disagree with that because you would
Okay.
have to give an example of a comparison of the atrocities compared to Hitler and her house. You would have to
Oh
in
no
order
no
for me
no
to
no
accept
no
that.
no 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 MD no, I get what you're saying. I'm not trying to compare. I just wanted to use it. I just use an extreme, like as a person that people know that everybody can agree that most people hate. No, I'm not saying that nothing they did, nothing on the same level. I don't have no issues
Okay,
with the
gotcha,
Queen. I'm Jamaican, so we were under their rule for a while. You know what I'm saying? So
gotcha.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying like let me just think of this evil person. I could have said Castro, but what I'm saying is we like we all agree that Hitler was bad, but there are people that can attest for Hitler that he what probably wasn't that bad. So what I'm saying is why do we feel we could tell people they can't be happy that somebody's dead?
Yeah, I
You
see. I
you
see.
can your feelings can be opinionated, but you would have to bring some sort of relevancy to what you think that caused that concern for everybody. I'll say this about Queen Elizabeth. I'm not all the way savvy as to the whole history of her house. I believe the house because her house started reigning what the beginning of the 20th century, I believe.
Yes, 1910.
Okay,
Uh,
all right.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 1910.
Um,
Uh,
yeah, because with her father and I believe her grandfather also both got the reign from second lineage. I believe. I could
yeah,
be wrong.
but let me ask you this, and that's where maybe we would need the input of an expert on the UK. But what exactly makes an
I
house,
can't hear
right?
him.
Well, what exactly makes a house in the sense that the House of Windsor, right?
Yeah,
It's been that since 1910, right? But the previous one, the House of Saxe, Gothenburg, and Gotha, that one lasted from 1901 to 1910. It was one person, right?
okay.
And then the house before that lasted from 1714 to 1727, and I don't know. Sorry, it lasted for 1714 to 1801, 1901, right? So 200 years. And Victoria, which is the great grandmother of Elizabeth, was part of that house. So part of her family. So and her house, the House of Victoria, even though she was not involved with slavery, the house was involved in slavery because slavery was outlawed in the UK in 1807, right? So I don't get this house and family thing and trying to absolve a family from the act of one or two persons. I mean, if we're talking about Elizabeth, we're talking about Elizabeth. If we're talking about the House of Windsor, what are we talking about exactly then?
Well, I mean, when you say house, that's just talking about lineage.
Right.
It's all the same. You know what I mean?
Well,
It's
Victoria is the great great grandmother of Elizabeth. Yet they are three houses apart.
yeah. It's the way the houses work. And like I said, I ain't no expert in this
I
in
yeah.
any way. But like houses, it's based off of the selection of how they court and the system. You know what I mean? So whichever is dominant, that's the house that it becomes. Like they're all family. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But like
You'd
the
expect.
way the monarchy works is based off of which house said monarch was raised in. That's what I get. That's the gist of what I get from it. But it's all the same. Ain't no thing. I will
Because it
say
seems to me that the only thing
go
that
ahead.
defines if a house was involved in slavery is just the dates. on which
Right.
a particular part of the monarchy was considered a particular house. Because after 1807, every house. So what about the house of the Hermans or whatever, the one that Victoria was part of and lasted for 200 years? Half of their existence there was slavery. The other half there wasn't any. So what's the legacy of their house? Abolishing slavery, but taking part in it for 200 years
Right.
or for 100 years.
Yeah, that's a
I
viable concern.
Well, yeah, because when we're talking about absolving the Windsor's house of any wrongdoing, what are we doing exactly, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I
No,
saw
no.
that video. I saw that video that
Right.
Sister Noble did because I was trying to get clarity as to like why you said what you said too. I mean, I what I take from it, like I said, kind of what Zanzi said, like you have to base it off individual. And if I was to rate the life and the proclamations of Queen Elizabeth, she when it comes to colonialism, she was a bad mountain. She was cold with the politics. I say that.
Okay.
She was definitely cold with the politics. That for sure. Like, and she, even when it was against what Parliament or the people wanted, she wiggled her way in and made you figure out why it was a good thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think we'll never see another monarch like her in terms of politics. Like she was cold blooded. You know what I mean? I mean, me personally, the main example that I can give was the Ghana trip. Like that was cold. You gotta admit that was cold with Nkrumah. That was the way she pulled it off to not necessarily give the country a wayward point, but the media, because that's all the royal family is about.
Right.
It's media perception. You know what I mean? And that's why Queen Elizabeth was cold, because she played to the whims and decided the fate of how the royal house and how the UK was moving from a political standpoint via the media. And it'll never, I don't think it'll ever be, a situation where we'll have another monarch like that, because nowadays, like I said, we in woke culture. So, you got to be careful on, you know what I mean?
Right.
But
Right.
Queen Elizabeth, well, she was slick with it, man. I give her that credit.
Right.
She
Right.
was slick with it.
I don't think George will be that person. He's too old, and I don't like his face. But I'm guessing, right, Elizabeth.
Are you
I'm
talking about
thinking that.
Charles?
Charles.
Yeah,
Yeah. Charles the Third. Yeah. Charles
Man,
the Third.
I
Charles a damn fool. He don't know. He don't
no,
know what.
yeah, but
Hey, he better than Andrew.
Well,
He better
yeah, I
than Andrew.
yeah, and
Andrew, that
Epstein
more.
as a king might not be the best thing, right?
Right.
Um, what I think is that she's been there for a long time, right? And she got the position when she was very young. So until we get another young monarch, I don't think there's going to be another revolution and our monarchy is done, right? So that's why Charles is not going to be. He's going to die not changing anything and getting mad at pens, right? So
I mean, I can't even really say that, because let's say next month Charles died, and then you got
Right.
William.
Right.
William is you talk about woke culture. That's him, because he's going to play to the whims of how society is moving right now.
Mm.
He really doesn't have a choice. So if we get William, that's your young guy right there, and I don't think he would he would be forced into, like I said, this woke monarchy.
I don't think automatically a young person is going to be revolutionary in the way you approach monarchy. But I'm thinking that it won't be an old an old monarch that will, right? So it's not the first young one that might be the revolutionary one, but I don't think that the revolutionary one will not be a young one.
Gotcha. Yeah, I get it.
I don't know much about William. Isn't he the one that was getting in trouble back in the early 2000s all the time?
Now, as far as I know, William pretty much always been a straight shooter. Like he's a military guy.
Oh, William, is he the balding one?
Yeah,
Let me
that's
see.
Harry
Let's
you're
see it.
talking about.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Harry. That's the one I'm talking about. Thank you, Trevor. Yeah, Harry is the one that is always getting in trouble. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Well, what Harry, he's a free spirit, so it'll never. I mean, if I had to pick one after Charles, it'll be William because I think he's the most suited. You know what I mean? But
Right.
again, he's been groomed for the way we move as a society today, and he's gonna have to do accordingly. At some point when he does become the sovereign.
Okay. And how old is he right now, MD?
I think he's a little bit older than me. I think William is like
Oh, okay, okay. So he
I
got
think he's like 40 now.
oh,
Something
so he got plenty of time. Okay,
yeah.
he got plenty of time, man. Hey, Trevor, I know you got to go real soon, but I guess I wanted to ask you real quick: how did the House of Windsor treat Jamaica?
I see. I I haven't been. I've been here since. Damn, I want to give up my numbers
Oh, you
because
Jamaican.
people.
You Jamaican. Okay, you Jamaican.
Yeah,
Oh, you
yeah.
Jamaican. Okay.
I've been here. I've been here since I was 6 months old.
Oh yeah, you
I'm
Jamaican.
just.
Okay,
Yeah,
you
I'm just
Jamaican.
saying. I know. One of my passports still has British stuff on it. You know what I mean? So
Okay,
it's like,
okay.
um, yeah. Like I said, I don't. I don't care about. I don't care about the Queen either way. It was
Okay.
just it was just more so like the way you were defending what she was saying, and I'm like, man, did you hear all the other stuff though? Like you niggas this, like you nigg it
Oh
just
no, no, no,
it
no.
always come from a
Yeah,
place of
I don't agree.
it,
I mean, yeah. Yeah. That's why I knew when it was mixed in like that. I said, "Oh boy, okay." And I said in the video, it's about to be some heat over this. But there, I'm cherry picking some of the facts out of there that she cannot clarify, and I can take it and say, okay, look, if I would have had the chance to redo that video and tell, if I had a chance to like, no, don't do that like that, do it like this, it would have came out way better. But I mean, it came out the way it did. So yeah, it is what it is. But uh there was some factual things said in here, but like I said, the other stuff said, no, I don't agree with that, Trevor. I don't agree with that. MD, no, no, absolutely not. Other stuff they're saying about just the rant, no, I don't agree with the rant, but there was some things that were said
so let me
that
let me ask you guys this. What impact do you think the Queen, her family personally made on the United States?
I mean
we
that'll be a tough one. The United States.
that's yeah, we've
Um,
actually go ahead, MD, because I mean you got time, y'all got time. But it's gonna be interesting take that I got on that.
I mean, like I said, the most profound uh image that I have of Queen Elizabeth, from through study and whatnot. Like I said, I go back to that Ghana trip, and that was in the height of the Cold War. You know what I'm saying? So what she did in Ghana with Nkrumah, where there was a teetering of a lot of African nations siding toward,
So
at that time, USSR
yeah,
as opposed to the West. So that trip was pivotal in solidifying, the relationship between, at that time, independent Ghana and the Commonwealth of the Queen. So I look at that trip, and if I can put a stay on that as far as that had an impact. Like I said, Queen Elizabeth was one of the coldest, and she wasn't a political. I mean, she wasn't a political figure by by proper name. You know what I mean? But she was a political powerhouse in the moves that she made. You know what I'm saying? Like, that, like I said, that Ghana trip. What's another trip? She had that was impacting. A lot of trips that she did in the South Pacific Islands. Uh, uh, that held stance as to when Guam came into play for the United States. You know what I mean? A lot, look at all the colonial moves that were being made throughout her whole reign as queen. Like what she started off with how many nation states in the Commonwealth, and then ended with more, you know what I'm saying? So she was getting down, and she wasn't necessarily telling nations to get down and lay down, but she was finagling, you know what I'm saying, politically, to make it seem like getting down with the Commonwealth was a good. I mean, whichever way you look at it, it could have been a good thing, but politically, she was a powerhouse, and I give her respect for that. Now, whether you benefited or not, that's a different subject. But I'm just looking at the way that she moved and how she portrayed herself in the public view. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying like all the things she did was a good thing, because I'm not. But the way she presented herself as a political figure was cold. I'll give her that.
So what you're saying is you respect the way she played the game. You just don't pronounce yourself or whether it's a good game or if her winning was a good thing.
Yeah. I'm saying, like, if you wanna say she was the bad guy playing the game, she played a damn good game. That's what I'm saying. She
So
played she played
so
it she
again,
played it well.
so again, there's nothing, and I get what you're saying. She played the game well, as most people do, but there's nothing that you could just stand out and you could rest on and say, hey, this impacted us in a good way.
Well, I mean, we didn't go to nuclear fallout, so that was pretty good.
Well, most people will tell you that's coming though.
Well, hey,
Would it
hey,
be our fault though?
hey, most people like, damn, I wish Queen Elizabeth was still here, because she might be able to finagle it. You know what I mean? She might have been the one that to go to the Kremlin and shake a few sticks to get it right.
Yeah, she threw her hat at Putin and said, "No, you get back in place."
Do you guys think that would work on U.S. soil, like that type a monarchy? Did I
No,
freeze up?
Hell no,
no,
hell no,
no. No.
no. The American people ain't going for it. They ain't going for it.
No. Two things we're not going to go for is a monarchy and a theocracy. We're not going for
I
neither one
knew,
of those.
I knew
Mm-mm.
that was coming. That's almost why I said it.
I'm gonna have Pilar come on because she came back as a she said, black son. I'm not gonna tell her business like that. But let's just say most black people who are very religious, when they visit like theocracies, they come back as atheists. And I'm talking about like some starch Christians. They come back and be like, no, this is some bullshit. Because they experience a real country under a religious rule, and then they start realizing things in the Bible and the Quran. They're like, oh, wait a minute. And they start realizing see, people in the US, we don't live under theocracy, so we just only know from what the Bible says, and we just take it with a grain of salt, like Disneyland and Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck, and we don't take that shit serious. But when you go to a country where they really practice that shit, especially being a
Mm-hmm.
black woman, yo, like I
Mm-hmm.
said, I've seen some starch Christians, like hallelujah, thank you, Jesus on Sunday, go to damn Saudi Arabia, they come back. I don't know.
Right. But
No.
you have to understand, most theocracies, they thrive under people that were born within it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You can't minimize a person that's been under one system and try, and like, again, even though they could be the most staunch, hammer down religious person there is, but
Right.
once they have to like live that life, you know what I mean? No, oh no, man,
Mm-mm.
I mean,
Mm-mm. Right. But
America,
no, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah,
not
absolutely.
America.
That's why I was telling Trevor. Yeah, we're not those two systems. We're not going for, and we definitely not going for no social. I'm about to say the word, Zanzi. We're not going for that either. But I mean that I'm gonna save that for Sunday. We gonna save that, Zanzi. We gonna save that.
No, you there's two things, right? Again, for me, discussing how socialism can be, because your initial question was how can if we're going to replace capitalism with something, it has to be a better system. And my answer
Right,
was, to some person, it's a question of opinion. And socialism
right,
can
right,
be
right.
seen, or communism was my what I said. Communism can be seen as a better option, and it's quite easy to prove how it can be seen by some people as a better option, right? And that's what we might talk about on Sunday, right? Now, if your question is communism the best thing to implement for X community, or for the black community? Well, my opinion is, I don't know. I have very very lax views about the political and economical system that the human species in actuality might choose to govern itself. It's not on my concern. In the time I live, there's very little chance that it changes that much, I believe. Um, and I do not have absolute answers about that. Marx would say that yes, communism is what would benefit any human of any historical background, but that the way it will be implemented, and that the time it will take for it to reach its maturity, will heavily depend on the historical background of any given people. So, according to Marx, yes, no matter the community, communism would be the best option, but it might take different path and different amount of time for different communities to get there. According to me, I don't know. I don't have any strong positions on any of that. I think the debate and the intellectual exercise around it is very interesting and fun, though.
Right. Um, well, the reason I make the argument, especially when you talk about black people, because black people have mastered capitalism right after Reconstruction. So you have now. I was telling, me and MD were talking earlier about, the Hispanic community is not even monolithic. So what I'm saying is that for the majority of, let's just say, black people here in America, there are people who would want a revolution, and there's people who have mastered capitalism to a T. So there would be a divide right there. So my question to the people that would want revolution: what do you have to replace it? Poetic innocence say, what is the alternative to capitalism in America? And what I'm saying is that whatever that alternative is, has to be better than. And I don't see the black revolutionaries who talk against capitalism demonstrating a better system. And most of the black capitalists, they can show you country by country, step by step. They can show you where the socialism of many forms, and I know Yanga will disagree. You're gonna see it. Shout out to you, Yanga. But every time it fails, and somebody comes up with a new form of socialism. Oh, well, this no, well, we got the new form of socialism. And throughout, I mean, I could show countless African histories that countries that have failed under socialism and it's still failing under socialism. He talks about African socialism, and I would show some clips here today of some countries that have failed under that. So again, socialism, just on paper, just in practical practice, has not worked for the Chinese, the Africans, the Europeans,
So
the
all
South
the examples
Americans.
that you're
Okay,
giving right now,
right.
those are not examples that we're going to discuss on
Oh,
Sunday.
that's fine. That's
uh,
fine.
because for the only reason that the documents that we're going to talk about on Sunday were written in the years leading to 1848. So none of those
Okay.
examples were present yet. But there were other examples, right? Between 18 uh, well, no, that's not true. It's between 1848 and 1872, but uh,
Okay.
between 1848 and between and 1872, um, there were other examples of different people trying to uh, put in place some of the the principles that
Practices. Right.
were announced by the Communist Manifesto, published in 1848.
Okay.
And before 1848, there were different branches of socialism, like utopian or critical socialism, that were taking place, that were taking root in society, right? And communism is Marxism, more specifically, is a branch of this idea of socialism, right? It's an offshoot of socialism, right? It's not socialism because it differs in critical ways from it, right? In the same way, right? Let's take religion as an example. I'm not trying to put a parallel or a link between religion and the economical or sociological aspects of communism, but the
Okay.
same way that Abrahamic religions led to Judaism, Christianism, and Islam, right?
Right.
The same way that socialism, to some extent, right, uh, led to different kind of socialism and to eventually to communism, right?
Right.
And communism, well, has also its branching factions that came after Marx, right? But he did address, right, him, mostly Engels, but the authors of the manifesto did address those different branches, right? So we're not going to talk specifically about the African socialism and Maoism or Chinese socialism. They call it communism, right? Because those were not contemporary, right? We might draw parallels and comparisons at the at a different point, right, in the three-parter that I wanted to do, but um, it's interesting to see how, and I think that that might, because I'm not very uh, knowledgeable about the different branches of communism and the black revolutionary movement that would include part of socialism and communism, but
Well, the black.
even, huh?
I can answer that. The black. Well, Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale followed. Well, more or less Huey P. Newton. He followed Mao's version. I know he passed out the red book and all that. So they were trying to implement or practice or learn Mao's form of socialism.
Mm.
Or incorporate that. But
So
that
no,
that yeah,
that's interesting,
yeah,
but Marx, all those different groups, all those different political parties outside of Germany, because he was mainly um, trying to, he was making his demands to Germany. That was the country he believed was at the best point in its development to uh, go through the communist revolution, but
right.
it's also the country he lived in, so that facilitates things, right? Same way that Nietzsche said that, well, you have to overcome all your weakness if you want to be a real Superman, but he just said that because he was a sick man that managed to be an asshole, even though he was a sick man, a quite successful one. Anyway,
Right.
but the the use that Marx saw in those different revolutionary group was only that they were trying to incite or instill revolution. That's why he saw the utility in cooperating with them. But in the end, he believed that all those revolutionary group would just be those tools, those part of the path toward communism, right? Basically, that all the specific demands, all the every revendication that they had outside of the main principle of communism were going to evaporate, right? They were just part of the historical uh, differences that makes it so everybody has a different path that takes a different time. But at the end of the day, every national differences should evaporate uh, on a global scale. That was his view, his vision, right? So everybody would reconciliate. Everybody would get that level of all being part of the same way that he wanted to abolish even the simple concept of family, right? Uh, shows that he wanted the community, everybody, to become part of the proletariat, as he called it, right? And
Right.
the proletariat would constitute one unit of society, right? So it's going to be better explained in his
Well, you're
words that
talking
I'm going
about
to
a
share,
right, but you
but
don't. But in contrast, you're talking about an egalitarian society. Is that what you're describing on paper?
well, that's what he was describing, right?
Right. Right.
Again, my vision, when I'm talking about socialism, I'm not talking about what I believe. I'm talking about what Marx believed, right?
Right. Right. But the problem with that, Zanzi, can I give you case in point example? You said you never had Mexican food, right?
oh, no, I did have Mexican food. Or
Okay,
was
okay,
it
you've had
a
Mexican
rhetorical
food.
question?
Okay,
Yeah.
that's perfect. That's perfect. And I just want to use this example real quick because I know. I mean, so do you believe all people are equal?
If I believe all people are equal,
Yeah.
that's a hard question. What do you mean by equal?
Do you believe that black? Well, damn, I hate to do this on a show after Noble did what she did. Do you think Chinese people can make good Mexican food?
Ah, okay,
Well,
so
I tell
I'm
you.
sorry to ask you another question, but
Okay,
uh, what do you mean by Chinese people, right? Does it have to be someone that's born and raised in China and that never even approached the concept of Mexican food, or can it be someone of Asian descent, but that was born and raised in Mexico, right?
okay, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Um. So what you're saying is that it, you can take any person and try. Okay, so let me give you another example. Do you think
Because
Joan?
culture and genetics are two different things, right? So
Right, culture and genetics are two different things. So, because I was going to ask you, I was going to ask you, do you think Joan Rivers can be a good heavyweight boxer? That's a good example.
I don't know enough. I'm not knowledgeable about sports. I don't even know who Joan Rivers is.
Okay, okay, Oprah Winfrey. You know Oprah Winfrey,
Yeah,
right?
I know Oprah. Yeah.
Okay, do you think she would be a good heavyweight champion boxer?
God damn, I don't think if you put her in a ring with Mike Tyson that she's gonna last very
Right.
long.
I'm glad you said Mike Tyson. So they're not
She
equal.
beat up. She beat up Harpo.
She beat who?
Okay, good point. Good point. Good argument, MD. Okay, well, damn. I guess.
I said Mike Tyson because Mike Tyson is the
You
only
told
heavyweight
Harpo to
champion I
beat me.
know, right? So
What'd you say, MD?
You told Harpo to beat me. She beat Harpo. Right?
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. So where I'm going with this, y'all see where I'm going with it, but fair enough, MD. You got me, man. You got me. Well, what I'm saying is that in an egalitarian society, eh, we have to look at the reality, like you said, genetics. That everybody is not equal. Everybody's not Mike Tyson.
well, because
Everybody's not
everybody's different, that's for sure. But
right.
equal on what level, right? Because since nobody is identically the same thing, on what do you define equality? Is it nobody is going to be equal in
Okay,
height?
fair
Nobody is
enough.
going to be equal in strength.
Fair enough.
Is
Fair enough.
everybody equal in their rights? Well, if you want to give rights to
I'm,
people,
I'm glad you said that. I'm
it
so
would
glad
have
you
to
said
be.
that. So right now they're having issues with transgender athletes in the sports of women. And women are saying, yo,
Yeah,
that is
who
a
cares? Oh,
dude.
I don't care
No, no, no,
personally
no,
about
no,
that,
no. You
but
talk about equality, though. You're talking about
yeah,
rights
but
and
sports
equality.
are a made up
But
thing. Who cares who participates in that? This isn't
sports pays
because there's money in it, right? But
right, right, right,
sports
right,
isn't
right,
that
right.
supposed to be about fun first and foremost, or maybe health or
Well,
fitness?
well, and here in the U.S., it's about it pays
Yeah,
a lot of
not in
money.
America.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
not
not
in
taught as a right.
America.
Well,
Right.
I understand that it's not the case in America. It's not the case here in Canada either. What I'm saying
And I believe
is
in
that
Canada,
the
you guys
proper
have the
thing.
same issue.
Should
I
we
think
care
so.
more about the money, or should we be care more about whoever is having fun doing whatever the fuck they do or getting fit, whatever? That's my vision of it, right? Sports shouldn't be about money. Sports should be sports. Art shouldn't be about money. Art should be about art.
But
Getting
when you hold
water
on,
to drink to people shouldn't be about money. It should be about getting water to drink to people, right? To me, it's clear.
but
Uh,
But
but yeah,
Zanzi, when you put money into sports, because here in the U.S., sports is all about money.
I
I mean,
understand
you
it
know what
is.
I'm saying? And
That's for
most
sure.
of the world, most of the world, where the Olympics go, it's about money. And the
Yeah,
issue is, you got these trans athletes saying, "I'm a goddamn become a swimmer. I'm gonna do this and
yeah.
that,"
Well,
competing with women who don't have the muscle
that
mass.
happens when you make sports about that, and that gender becomes an important thing. And
So the point I'm making,
it's
it's not
I
equality.
don't
It's
care
not
about those
equality.
things, to be quite honest.
No,
Personally,
that's
I think
fine, but
it's a
I'm just
problem that
showing
we made up
example.
because we didn't think we had enough problem, right? So
But you see my point though, right?
I don't.
You don't see my point.
Well, okay. I see your point in the sense that there's money involved with it, so we have to care about it.
Right. Right,
But I don't
but when
agree
we're
with
talking
it.
about socialism,
So I see your point.
okay.
I don't think it's a real point. I think it's a made up point. Not by you, definitely not by you. Too many people believe in it, but it's still a made up problem, right? There's people dying of malnutrition, and we
Right.
care about people with surgery participating in sports. What the fuck are we doing?
I was just I got you. I got you, Zanzi. All I'm
Oh yeah,
saying.
I know you get me, but problem is
Right.
that everybody gets me. Nobody acts on it. It's
But that well,
you can't say I'm wrong, man.
when you talk about no, I'm not saying that you're wrong, but you are moving the goalposts.
I'm
You're
not
moving
moving
the goal.
anything. I'm just saying when I think about the fact that why are we talking about transgender people when 5 seconds ago we were
No, I
talking
was
about
only mentioning transgender people because when you talked about all those authors, they talked about an egalitarian society, and I'm saying there is examples of
yeah,
where
but egalitarian
people are not evil.
society, right? In the way Marx talks about it, doesn't
Right.
concern it, right? Okay, so a good
So he
example
didn't
about
take
that.
it.
No. I got a good example because he talks about one thing, right?
Right.
He talks about the community of women. And I wonder
Okay.
what the fuck is the community of women when I first heard that term, right? And people back in the days, right? Women, they couldn't vote, they couldn't participate in
Right.
society.
Hmm.
So the whole thing about what is Marxism going to do about communities of women and blah 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 blah, and Marx said that's not of the concern of Marxism. That's part of the historical blah 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 of whatever the fuck that you want to do with it, right? At the end
Gotcha.
of the day, everybody's going to be equal, woman, blah blah blah, right? If it takes you 500 years to understand that's your historical path, right?
But Zanzi, but are we talking about when we talk about socialism at the end of the bottom line, we are talking about controlling the resources of money, correct?
No, there's no money back in the system at the end of it, right? That might be hard to understand, but money is
But you
not
need
a
but
question
you
in
need
the
okay,
end.
but no, I see where you're going with this. You're talking about trade and barter, but you need a medium,
No,
which
there's
is
no trade, there's no barter, there's no buying, there's no selling. People have a very weird understanding of what communism is, and I end up
oh.
clarifying that on Sunday.
And when I'm okay, you know what? We're gonna clear that on Sunday. We're
Yeah,
almost an hour.
yeah.
I know MD got it.
I'm interested to hear
And it's not
more
going to be
about it
my
on
opinion.
Sunday.
I'm going to put the
Okay,
words
okay.
of Engels and Marx on the fucking screen with the references of what they wrote. If you want
Yeah.
to argue with
Okay.
them, well, unfortunately they're dead. But I'm sure you can
Right. No, I
find
got you. I
very
got you.
very strong believer in Marxism that will be glad to.
I
But that's
tell you
not
what,
me. I'm
Yang.
not a strong believer in
I
Marxism.
tell you what, Zanzi. I'm gonna bring Yang here too, so that way you got somebody that'll
Yanga seems to very much care about socialism,
he
so
does, he
I'd be
does.
interested to see how he reacts to the actual words of Engels and Marx. But
I'm interested too, man. Now hopefully, well, we're gonna be doing your show later. I was gonna say I love them Nature Mom to join, but so MD, we got you on Sundays. What you saying?
It depends on what time.
6 o'clock,
Mhm.
6.
6, 6:30, 6:30.
I don't know, man. We'll see.
Okay. Well, you know what?
Falcons come on at 4:30, man.
Yeah,
Huh?
Dolphins play at one.
Oh shit. Oh, okay, okay, got you. Okay, okay. So I should do it later. Okay, so
I'm saying no. I can always still, it ain't no thing. I can multitask, man.
okay, okay. Trevor, what's up, man?
The Dolphins play at one, man. So it depends if they win or not. That's
Oh,
always how my Sundays go.
oh, I get it, brother. I get it. Well, hopefully y'all can join because I think it's gonna be an interesting topic. MD, I definitely want you there because Yang gonna be there. He gonna be talking his shit. So we gotta, I'm gonna need some. I'm
Yeah,
gonna need some energy there, man, because
yeah,
me.
and like I said, the same, I'm interested to hear, what Zanzi puts together because
Okay,
just like I told Yeager, I'm more interested in how the wealth is being allocated to the people when it comes to socialism.
right,
That's my main thing. Like, I'm always interested to hear the different viewpoints and how, the
okay,
historical contemporaries looked at. I want to know, my main point that I try to hit on is how is the wealth being
distributed,
dispersed. Now, when I say wealth, that doesn't necessarily have to mean money. You know
right.
what I mean? As Zanzi pointed out.
And okay, so that's an interesting point, right? Because Marx he differentiates uh, the concept of property and the concept of capital, right?
Okay,
Is first the right. What we're going to study is mostly what was written around the manifesto, the Communist Manifesto, right? But Marx's big work was the Capital, right? That's the name of his essay, right? So the he's the one who kind of started the whole thing in sociology where you've got like political capital, social capital, economical capital, right?
Right.
And so when you're talking about wealth, well, there's a different approach to actual property, private property, and capital, right? The abolishment of private property, it's not a complete abolishment of private property in the sense that
right,
if you want to build yourself something, you're welcome to own what you build, right? But it's mainly the means of production and the capital that's produced from it, right? That has to be for the society, right? And not for individuals, right? So if you're going to produce something for society, it's not going to be to enrich yourself. It's going to be produced by society for society, and everybody in the society is going to
ooh,
benefit from what's been produced, right? And it's going to be put in context later, but the um, the fact he's saying, and that's interesting, right? Because communism could not have existed before the industrial revolution, right? Because it depends on technology to make it so that workers, right, the proletariat, can be cogs in a machine. Cogs in a machine that it is a society, not cogs in a machine that is exploited by individuals, right? So that there's no and craftsmen that want to craft things, they can still own what they created, right? And they can still uh, exchange it to some extent, right? But it's 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 the production of what's needed for society, what's deemed needed for society by the society, right? And that's the end of communism, right? Again, Marx talks about what communism should be and does make it very clear multiple times, and Engels continue after that Marx to make it very clear that the way we get there will be very different given the context, given the people, given the location, given the time, and yeah.
Okay, let me get some clarifications, Andy. So you just said that communism wouldn't be possible before the Industrial Revolution, correct?
As Marx explained it, everything
Okay.
else would not technically be called at least Marxism. Communism, it's debatable because communism is a much larger term than Marxism is, right?
Okay.
But most people, when they talk about communism, they talk about the Communist Manifesto, right? They talk about the revolutionary ideas that were launched by Marx and Engels. After that, there's a bunch of people that made a bunch of other stuff with those ideas, right?
Right. Okay. Let me ask you a question. Opinionatively, right? So with in regards to industrial revolution, would you, just with the information that you've compiled and what you think, would you believe that in terms of trying to set up a capitalist society within, especially the height of the industrial revolution, would you say that those certain positions that were meant to uh uh be a standpoint within the community, would you say certain positions were more valuable than the other? When
In
I
what?
when I say positions, like you said, you said a cog in the machine, right? Let's say the manufacturers, the bookkeepers, the everything that makes industry work, right? Would you say that certain positions within that machine are more important than the other?
I
Just in your opinion.
what I would say, or what Marx would say again.
No, in your opinion.
In my opinion,
Based off
uh,
based off of what was said in the manifesto.
in my opinion, I don't take part enough in business to have much more than an uninformed opinion on the subject, right?
Well, you
But
you you
the
you've
uh,
taken
the
part in working, so
yeah, well,
I
yeah,
mean you
absolutely.
would you
But
would
then
have a
again,
you would
what
have an opinion of.
what I have is a perspective, right? It's
Yeah,
just,
yeah,
or
that's
no,
fine.
but not even a perspective, right? It's a perception. A perspective would be an outside view, and that's what I don't really have as a member of technically the proletariat, right, and technically the workforce. So the my thinking would be that. Uh, from what I see, some, right, because I've occupied different positions, right? I've been in managing positions, right? And to be quite honest, it's not because you're higher up that you have more work to do and that your position is that more stressful, right? It doesn't mean it isn't, but it doesn't mean it is.
I
So,
understand, but that's not what
uh,
I said.
no, you said if some people were more
I
important
said
than
I said
others.
in your
So,
opinion, do you
my
believe that
opinion is
certain
that most likely in individual businesses, there are key people, but those key people are not necessarily related to the position, and they're not necessarily the way that the wages system is set up right now does not necessarily represent the true value of the different members of an organization, of an
I totally
industry.
understand that, but
So,
I
uh,
believe I understand
but
what you're
yes, I do
saying.
believe that in the current system, at the very least, there are some individuals are key individuals, right, and others that don't carry their weight. But that's
Right.
that's uh, that's that's to be expected, right?
But
Well, I mean, what I was trying to get you to do was like put yourself in a position where you would look at certain operating statuses in that egalitarian system and how it would affect the whole as a people. That's what I was trying to get you to like.
Right. But
Would
but
you
and if,
go ahead? Go ahead.
no, I understand what you're trying to do, but you're trying to take the current social apparatus and to force on it a different approach to material possessions, right, or to
Not
material to the,
necessarily
well, because that's what I understand
because
from it, because
the industrial revolution had to start. So and
yes,
that's not just from an American standpoint. You know what I
no,
mean?
no, but
The whole world went through that.
okay, so are you asking if capitalism is necessary for communism?
What
Because
I
the answer to
what I'm
that is
at,
yes.
what I'm asking you is, are certain positions more valuable than other ones? That was my original question.
Okay, so if are certain positions more valuable than others? No. Are certain individuals more important than others or more key than others? Yes. I
So
don't
you're
think, because I don't think that it's tied to positions. No.
okay. So let's go back to the industrial revolution again. So let's give an example. Let's say the printing press. Let's say you have a manufacturing plant that's printing, right?
Yeah.
The person that operates the lathe, right?
Hmm.
And the person that builds the lathe, which one is more important?
Oh, none of them.
The person
None of
that
them?
builds it.
Well,
The person
Because
that
because
builds it.
that's what I would say. From my opinion, the person that built the lathe is more valuable than the person that operates the lathe.
why?
So in an egalitarian society, if
Why?
you're
But
telling
why?
me,
Wait. Why?
because you have no lathe if I don't build it.
Right, but there's no
And
person to
if I'm
operate it. There's no reason
well,
to build it either.
if I'm the builder, then I know how to operate it also
Well, okay,
Correct.
and
perfect.
operate.
So you're also the
And
operator. So is
and
the
I have to
operator
train the
of you
person
more valuable
to
than the
to
builder
to to
part of
learn
you?
how to operate it. I also have to do that.
And I don't agree I don't agree that's true in modern society that the
But
builders know
we're
how
not
to
talking about
operate.
modern
And
society.
that's the whole point of Marx, right? Because what he's okay, so that's important because now you're taking the handicrafter, as Marx would call it, and trying to make him a part of the proletariat and of the labor force. And those are two different persons. Though the handy worker is not the one that's concerned with communism because that's already been killed by the modern industry, right? The guy who built the lathe nowadays that's produced in a fucking shop in China, right? He doesn't know how to fucking operate it. He's just building one part of it in a fucking chain, right? So the worker nowadays, you just or in Marx day, and way much more so in Marx day, because you have to remember that our world is not the capitalist world of Marx. Much of social democracy, right, which was a fringe movement in Marx's day, is what controls our world nowadays. The fucking United States are social democrats now, right? So they won a bit of it, right? They're halfway there. Right, so it's we forget that most of the time that the world was much more capitalist back in his days. So he won some already, right? And but if you he already addressed what our world is, right? There's a whole part in the manifesto about our society right now because there were already the roots and the seeds of it that were appearing, right? The middle class, right? The part of it that's not too concerned about revolution because they're comfortable in what the industry brings to them in the bourgeois world, right? So it's,
Right.
I personally think that the sacrifices required by communism, most people won't agree with them. And even though I would be interested to try the experiment, even though it would mean that I might have to forfeit my life. I would do it for
Oh man,
society if we believed in it, right? And by forfeiting my life, what I
you
mean
talking about a
is
great reset?
forfeiting the
Mean
concept
that
of
your life as how you live it today.
yes, exactly, not dying,
I
literally.
got you. Yeah, I
Okay,
understood
Uh,
what you were
okay,
saying.
okay,
and
okay.
I
yeah,
understood what you were saying.
I'm not a goddamn martyr, okay? So, but the point is, what it asks for, I don't believe society as a whole is in a position right now where it's going to accept it. Do I believe, though, that if the human species is going to survive the sun, right, survive for at least another 4 billion years, do I believe that they will have to head towards the principles enunciated in the Communist Manifesto? I do believe that. I don't believe that the species deserves to exist if it cannot embrace those simple principles of justice, right? That I will present, and that some people might, because there's so much that's been built since 1848 over the concept and the word communism that I think it's important to go back to the roots of what those people believed and see, well, does that make sense, right? And yes, it was incomplete, and yes, people built horrible things upon those foundations. But should we forget the base principles that they enunciated, right? And that they said, they tried to make it clear that we're just enunciating base principles. How we get there, we haven't concerned ourselves too much about that outside of Germany in 1848, right?
Gotcha.
Hey,
Yeah,
fellas,
I'm interested. I'm interested.
yeah, fellas, I'm a get down. Gotta switch out with my wife and go watch my
Oh, okay,
daughter.
Trevor. That's right. That's right. Yep.
And,
Yep.
but Black Son, you still have to show me you have to show me some numbers and some actual people that
Okay.
that had cancer and turned vegan, and it was the vegan lifestyle alone that cured their cancer, not medication, not radiation. That's what
Shit,
you
Right.
if
have
you
to
got
show
living
me.
example of that, I'm interested too.
Okay.
Because that's your stance, that you can show how veganism cures cancer. So that's what you have to show me. But we'll
Okay.
have to set that up. I don't want to totally change the subject, but
Oh, no, 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 no. We can set that up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got you on that. Now, okay. So can I say this because the cancer did require some medications, but the heart disease required no medication. So can I?
okay, it was heart disease.
Okay. So heart
And
disease.
and you
How about
and you would have to show okay, so heart
heart disease?
disease,
Okay. So okay.
hypertension, high blood pressure, things like
Okay.
that.
Yeah, those
But
are
you
easy.
would
Yeah, yeah. The cancer is a little
but
bit more
but
complicated.
but you would have to show me though. You would have to show
Okay.
me
Studies.
multiple people, not
Okay.
just 10 people here, 10 people there. You'd
All
have to
right.
show me a nice sample size.
What? Give me just like okay. Is 15 good?
I mean, 15 out of 300 million. I mean, so
So,
so
so you
here,
want him
here
to
You
find
believe
more of a
200?
study more than actual people,
yeah.
then
So
okay.
so here's
Okay.
what I'm
Okay.
getting at, because here's what I'm getting at,
Because these are
because
recent. These are recent. Yeah, these are
yeah,
recent.
well,
So
here's what I'm getting at, because for 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 everybody that you say turned vegan in their life, you know, all their diseases went away and everything. I can
mhm.
show you people that died of those same diseases that were vegan.
so
So you'd have to show me the reverse.
okay, so you want me to show you because I can show you again where the vegan diet, no other diet has reverse heart disease, where there was a clogged artery. Several case studies where they've done this. Like, what they call. I'll show you the studies. I will
Yeah, but
get
what I
okay.
think what he's saying is important in the study is that it's a study that makes sure that the change in diet is the only factor that could have impacted, right?
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. All right.
And
Yeah, and like
that's why reading the methodology of a study is very important because that's where you'll learn if it was only the only factor or not.
Okay.
and like I say, I'm not gonna. I
That's why
mean,
I didn't.
it'd
I
be a
didn't. I
dis.
didn't that's why I didn't take the cancer one. I was like, because that's more complex. But the heart disease is just the artery was clogged up, and in order to unclog it, they just had to change the diet around. So, but the cancer is more complex because the cancer is feeding off something that the body actually needs, which is leucine. Too much leucine produces a ground where you can now grow tumors, you can grow cancers, and the cells can split up. But if your body is intaking the proper amount of leucines, not leaving anything left over, then but that's why I say that's a little bit more complex. So that's why I want to use the heart disease because the heart disease could be easier explained than the cancer. The cancer is a little bit more complex.
All right, and we'll, like I say, because
So yeah, the
I
heart
mean,
disease, I can
it'll
yeah,
it'll be
I
a
can
conversation.
okay,
It'll be a conversation because I'm not gonna do any slideshows and things
I'll
like
say
that. But
that in
okay,
Blackson's defense, Trevor. My uncle, right, is a cancer researcher, a microbiologist at the University of Sherbrooke, right, and he became a frugivore after during his work because his educated opinion, that's his field, right, is that our digestive system is made mainly for fruits. And he eats like fucking 2 cases of banana every 3 days, right? And he eats only fruits and rice noodles. He's a hoot at a party, I can tell you that. But he's the fittest man I know. I shit you not. And so that's not a study, but that's the opinion of an expert and a testament to his health. But I've never really looked at it in a scientific way. So if Blackstone can find those studies, I'd be interested to see if my uncle is just a freak example, or if I should stop eating meat too, even though it's so fucking good.
well, I'm gonna
You ain't
so
lying.
Right. Well, I'm gonna show that.
So
Right. And I
yeah,
get
so
that's
so
see what MD was said. It just comes down to y'all like me. Y'all like me,
well, what I'm saying, okay, so Black Son,
but you don't need it.
you
Okay.
always say that you're 6'2", 250.
Hmm.
Well, I'm 6 foot 260, and
Right.
I'm just in the same. My body structure is just like yours, and
Right.
I am a carnivore. I am a meat eater like
Right.
there's no tomorrow.
Right.
So
Right.
so
And I'm
you
not.
you
Okay. Go
so
ahead.
if but okay so if a doctor took both of our measurements, they'd say that we're both morbidly obese based on our BMI. But you could look at us and tell us that we're not. So again, you would have to show me a study or some real proof, not just a couple people here and there, that says, hey, veganism is the way to go and you meat eaters can go to hell.
Well, I'm not saying meters go to hell. All I'm saying, I'm not saying that, man. All I'm
I
saying is
mean,
that,
hell is where the barbecues are gonna be at. I don't know,
Uh,
man.
right. Trevor, what I'm
put me there.
okay. Trevor, what I'm saying is that, but see, Trevor, you just proved my point. If we weigh the same and we're the same height, the only difference is I don't eat meat, you choose to eat meat. So now we done took two human beings, and I just proved that you don't see most people's minds, I'm not saying yours, believe that you have to have meat. And that is the misnomer. That's all I'm saying. So what I'm saying is that meat eating is a choice. That's just something that you choose to do. You don't need it. But I'm not the food police. All I'm saying is that if you look at the top 10 killers, the mortality rates is all diet related. High blood pressure, diabetes, hypertension, all that is diet related. And then when you look at the cancer, when you have an overload of leucines, it produces grounds for tumors and cancers because that's what they feed off of. So we're overloading our system with leucines. Not saying that you're gonna get cancer, not saying MD gonna get it. What I'm saying is that when you eat the high levels of leucines, then you're at risk. You're just at a higher risk. And all I'm saying as a black person in America, we don't need to be in no high risk nothing in this United States, is all I'm saying. So,
So
oh, go ahead,
I
go ahead. Yes,
because you keep saying that it's a choice, right? And right in Canada, right
right,
in
right,
Montreal, where I live, it's definitely a choice. I can make
right.
the choice
You
to eat
right.
meat. I can make the choice to not eat meat. I can make the choice to only eat goddamn Oreos if I want to. I'm gonna
Right.
die soon, but I can make that choice if I want, right? But if you talk about the Inuits in the far north or communities that rely on fishing, right?
Mhm.
Those they don't have a choice. They eat what they have available, and in some case, what they've had available for thousands of years. So, are you saying that those people are doomed to move or slowly
They
die of
actually
cancer for eternity?
they actually the Inuits have the highest case of what they call it atherosclerosis because of the fish. So yeah, that what I'm saying is that you can eat whatever you want to eat. That there's consequences, and we might all live to be 100. All I'm saying is that why not be healthy to
Yeah,
that
but
life
they don't eat
100 as
whatever
opposed.
they want to eat. They eat what's
No, no,
there.
no,
So
no,
I'm
no.
just
I got
saying,
what
when
you're
you're saying
saying.
it's
Right,
a
right, right, right.
choice,
Okay, okay, okay. I'm sorry. When you know what, you're right. We're right. They don't have a choice. Just like people might make the argument that every society had to have meat at a certain point in order to survive. And I can make the argument and say that every society has gone through cannibalism in order to survive. Also, I can make that argument. So
no,
what I'm
I
saying is
agree
that
that all society went through cannibalism at some
right,
point.
right,
But for that statement to be true, you have to consider that all societies that exist now uh, were the same society if you go back thousands of years in the past to the
right.
Paleolithic,
So
and you
right,
have to include capitalism as eating your ancestors, right? Because as for
right.
survival, I don't know that all societies on Earth had to rely on capitalism for survival. I I don't know that most.
Let me say, when I say most of your, like, okay, so let's just say the Western world. A lot of people either descend from Europeans, Africans, Asians, and let's just say South Americans, and even a lot of natives too. Zanzi, I'm gonna put y'all in there too. Those
But
major
at what
five.
point did we, for survival, rely on cannibalism? Is what what are the sources for that?
Oh, okay. Well, let me just give you one source. West Virginia, Virginia, the first state in the United States of America, when we had an abundance of fruits and vegetables and whatever we had for 1 year. But because of now this it spills over into the whole socialism capitalism thing. They basically ate and they didn't manage what they were eating, and eventually they started eating. Well, at first they ate some of the what they call the savages, and then they started eating each other. That's Virginia history. That is the
Because
first state in the
because
United
if you're
States.
speaking about the American colonies, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I would agree that most American colonies have a chance of, because I don't know for sure. I'm not an historian, but I
okay,
would see the context in which because I know that some even here in Quebec had to rely to that, right?
right,
But
right.
to say that all societies, because as a community, right, thing maybe more than a societal thing. I don't know.
Okay,
Maybe.
when I say okay, when I say and that's not, it may not necessarily. You might eat people of different tribes. You might eat some of your enemies, like the NKVD. What I'm saying is that it may not necessarily be people in your
Wait,
community, but there are cannibalistic societies that have eaten other warring
wasn't
tribes.
the NKVD a thing from
Stalin,
they
it's
ate
Stalin.
people? They were
Yeah,
cannibals?
yeah, yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, right. A lot of people don't know that. That's why I was going to have a debate on Hitler and Stalin. Yo, NKVD was doing
But
some
again,
wild
NKVD is
shit.
not as much as the.
The
So are
SS.
you saying that every society has a part of it that engage in cannibalism? Because that would be true. I agree. But
What I'm saying is,
to
I can
say that
point
all of them
to
depended
every
on it.
major Western country has partaken in cannibalism. Soviet Union, France, England, America, Canada, South America, China. I can point to your major
Because
countries and
I
say
didn't
part
know about the NKVD
Africa.
one, but for the
Okay.
Soviets, what I know about, and that's an interesting story if you don't know about,
Hmm.
right? I don't know where I got this fact, but it was something about words in different languages, right?
Hmm.
That that don't translate well, right? That would translate to a sentence in another language because it's a much more complex idea for which we don't have a specific word, right? And this was this one word in Russian that basically meant a human escape cow, right?
Uh-huh.
And what that was people were escaping gulags in
Right.
Siberia. They would
Right.
always take someone with them that's weaker than them
Yeah.
so that they could eat him and survive off of him, right? And they had a
Right.
word for that. So I would agree that every society have a part of it that engage in capitalism. But I don't think that you could take the Gulag example and say that Russian society survive on this particular aspect.
Well, no,
No,
no, no, no, no. I'm not saying survive. I'm just saying they have whatever the reason was. We can't just point to this society and say, "Oh, they were cannibals." What I'm saying is that I've
And
studied a
incidents.
lot. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've studied
oh yeah,
every
no.
ethnic group that you can think of, and everybody has
So what
taken
that
in.
says, actually, I think it is interesting, right? Is
Okay.
if in any human groups you can find instances of
Mhm.
cannibalism, even though it's seen as an extreme taboo,
Yeah.
maybe it's more part of human nature than we think. If we don't want it to be part of human culture, but maybe it's part of human nature because it's part
Okay.
of nature in itself, right? But
Right.
that's
Right.
where
Right. Right.
culture comes in, and we say, no, 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 none of that in our culture, none of that in our city, right? In our city, we
Right.
don't eat people. You want to eat people, go live in the woods with the wolves, right?
But what I'm saying, okay, so let's just talk on health, and this is why I'm gonna come back to Trevor. What I'm saying is that long-term cannibalism will have some adverse effects. Like I said, our closest
Only if you eat the brains. If you don't touch the brains, you should be fine.
any part.
No, the prions live in the brains. They don't live anywhere else.
No, 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 no. Any part of the human will cause atherosclerosis.
Oh, maybe that.
It will hyper
Oh, you mean
at
the meat part? Okay.
the meat part. Yeah, whatever the meat part will be hyper because like I said, we're eating other mammals right now. And we're having the health problems that we're having. So that's why I was trying to tell Trevor. All that is related to our intestines letting that shit sit in our system. And what I'm saying is that he has 24-inch intestines. MD has 24-inch intestines. You have 20. I'm sorry, I said 24-inch, 24 feet long intestines. Most of your herbivores have long intestines. Most of your animals that are adapted to eating meat have shorter intestines because they get that shit out of their system right away. So that's why dogs and cats don't get diabetes. They don't get heart disease and all that shit because they're designed to eat meat. They have stomach acids that break down the flesh. We don't. We have amylase in our saliva, and that's it. Our stomach acids are our stomach acids at a pH level of 5. If it goes below 5, we get stomach ulcers.
I just want to take this moment to point out the very interesting fact that the title of this video is Queen Elizabeth, and we're
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about the impact of cannibalism on our disease.
Right,
So
right.
that's that had to be mentioned. I think.
Well, Trevor, like I said, I want to bring, I want to bring the presentation. Like I said, it would be now. I would like to attempt to explain the cancer, but I think I would need some animation for that. But I can explain the heart disease through pictures. It's simple. It's just like plumbing. You know, you have a pipe and it gets clogged up and it got to unclog it. It's just like plumbing. If y'all have done plumbing, you know, MD, Zanzi, Trevor, y'all have done plumbing. The heart arteries is the same way. You got to unplug them. Now, the explaining the leucine levels, that's a little bit more complex. So that's why I was saying, you know what? Yeah, because it do take medicines to kind of knock that down and radiation and all that. So it's a more complex procedure. But on food alone, you can reverse heart disease.
Well, like I say, all you got to do whenever you're ready, just let me know because we're gonna have a conversation, so I'll just jump right on. But like I said, I've been trying to go for the past 10 minutes, so I gotta get out of here, man. So peace to the panel, man. Appreciate you guys for letting me come on.
Thank you very
All right,
much
peace,
for coming
Trevor.
on.
All right.
All right. So I'm gonna get that ready for Trevor, man. I'm gonna get that ready for Trevor. Yeah, it's just like, man, I wish I could do animation because I would definitely explain the cancer part. But like Trevor said, if we both weigh the same, we're the same height, I don't eat meat, he eats meat, it just means he's eating meat by a choice. That's all that means. Because if we're both existing, we're both here, we're both, and I don't eat meat, that means I don't. So he just proved my point. We don't need meat because I'm alive. I'm still here. So
Again,
it's
you
a
say
choice.
by
He likes
choice, and I
it.
say, I know I said that I live in Montreal, right, and that I can choose to live off Oreos if I want to, right?
Right, right.
Uh, but then again, I say that this year
Mhm.
because last year is the first year that I made a salary that wasn't under the poverty line.
Right.
And if we would have had this exact conversation 5 years ago, or even better, when we met each other at that
Mhm.
point of my life,
Yeah.
I didn't eat meat by choice. I ate meat because that was the fucking cheapest thing around. If I wanted to eat only fucking vegetables, I couldn't. I didn't have the money for it, right?
Right.
I don't know how it's in the
Great
United
point.
States, but here, a meat and processed meat diet is much cheaper than a healthy diet. So
What am I about to say? What am I about to say, Black Son? What am I about to say? It all goes back to what? Reparations.
But yeah, yeah.
Culturally, we have had a messed up diet. That's just what it is. You know what I mean?
Now we got Mr.
And
Water.
people revere our food to this day. But guess what? The other people that revere our food, they don't eat it every day. We do. You know what I mean? And that's a mindset, right? Even though we may have the means to eat healthier now, culturally and epigenetically, we still eat the same stuff because that's a generational thing. Now what would happen if our mindsets change and our circumstances change? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it. I'm not gonna say it's gonna happen in our lifetime because it's probably not. Again, I told you, man. Everything I can tie everything into reparation. Everything. I don't care what you say.
So you still owe Nature Mom a show, MD.
Yeah, I know, man. Like I said, I've been transitioning, man, with this other truck, and
Right. That
you
and
know
that,
what I mean.
yeah, I do. I'm just putting it out there. It don't have to be. Just you still owe,
Yeah,
especially on the reparations. You owe Nature Mama show because it's layers to that thing. It's
yeah,
layers.
it is. It is. It is.
And I'm like I said, the day I found out you were reparation, I said, oh yeah, oh shit, oh okay, and that I needed that element because I haven't really discussed much of reparations until you came to the arena, man. So yeah, but now people are knocking at their door about that reparations, and I'm like, hold on, people, it's not as simple as y'all think. And so I need you on here, Trevor, because like I said, it's layers, and we got to break that thing down where people understand. So when we do, first of all, we need to go. It's like taking a person to court. Like that's why I asked you earlier: is it the government or is it private corporations? You broke that down, but the government is slick with that shit. So it's like we need a strategy plan to go after this thing
Yeah, you're
because
gonna have to prove. You're gonna have to prove to the court, like you said, it's a court. We're
right,
gonna have to prove to the court how the government was directly responsible
right,
for the establishments that are still continuing to profit to this day,
right.
based off of the labor that we did. We're gonna have to prove that to the court.
But they fix books, MD. They be fixing books still.
Man, the
Yeah, they mean
the
they be.
the information has been compiled. You know what
Right,
I'm
right,
saying?
right. That's why I want you and Nature Mom because she got her stuff. You got her. So I want to put this thing together nicely because we talking about a real court case here. We talking about some like going in the courtroom and like as Malcolm say, the United Nations wherever we got to go. But yeah, you gotta tie that shit all together because the
Right.
government is slick. When it come to
And
money, they try to avoid that shit because they tried to backpedal when they had to pay the Japanese. Man, they finally Japanese finally got them in during the Reagan administration, was it
yeah, during yeah
1984?
Reagan did it. Reagan
Yeah,
did it.
yeah. But it took them. I mean, half them people were dead though. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? That was still in
but
their lifetime. But
their
they were
direct descendants. Their direct descendants
right.
were also available for those funds.
So
So go ahead.
I was just saying I'm ignorant of the subject, but wouldn't because you're saying that you'd have to prove in court that the government benefited directly from slavery, from what I understand, or for the profit of slavery, right? Wouldn't that be through taxes?
Well, no, the government uh uh through non-mandate of what was being going on in terms of slavery,
Yeah.
the government was directly responsible
Okay.
for the establishment to profit from said slavery.
Okay.
That
Okay.
that's the charge.
Well,
You know what
that's
I
much
mean?
easier to prove. You don't even have to
Yeah, that's
try
the
and.
charge. Exactly. And like I said, like I said this morning, you can mandate it federally. The states are the one, and that's where we have to be. That's where we have to take into account the importance of how we move as a people from state to state. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The states are the ones, in my opinion. Like I said, it could change. However you get the check, you get the check. But in my opinion, the state should be responsible for allocating those funds to the people. You know what I mean? Based off of lineage. You don't have to necessarily like live in that state. But if your lineage come from that state, from chattel slavery, then but the state, because the states are the ones that directly, like the federal government did, but the federal states, I mean the states themselves are the ones that are directly being impacted from the establishments in said state. You see what I mean? Well, like we talk about from Norfolk Southern to Wells Fargo to
Right. Merrill Lynch. Yeah.
all these different establishments that was shaking and moving during slavery. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
That
so
has to
the
be a
hard
state issue. Go ahead.
the hard part is going to be to quantify what amount of the billions of dollars that they've made can be attributed directly to the use of forced labor. If I understand properly, what you're saying.
That's where the federal mandate will come into play.
Okay.
So you know what I mean. So, but like I said, I that's like I'm gonna try to get. Is Nature Mom gonna be on Saturday? I might be able
Yeah.
to make Saturday too.
Yeah. She's gonna be on it Saturday at 2.
Okay, I might be able to make that. I might be able to
Okay.
make that too.
I hope so. I hope so. Cause she's yeah, because I know and I think Poetic Empress is gonna join us. But yeah, man, like I said, it's complicated. It's something I can't do by myself, MD. Cause that, like I said, that shit got layers, man. And that shit got layers and layers and layers and layers, man. And I'm gonna need both you and Nature Mom for that one. Cause that's man, I've been doing my research and I'm like, damn, that's
Right. Yeah.
a lot of
So
work.
yeah. So with the show winding down, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
So what's up with? So I want to go back to the video
Okay.
with Sister Noble. So what? And I don't know if you want to talk about it now. What exactly
Oh,
was the
good.
issue with your brother Talik as far as you mentioning her in the video? Like I don't know. Like it seemed like you had some type of contention as far.
Oh,
You know,
because I think between um Talik and Noble, they had some legal issues,
yeah. I know. Yeah.
and you know, and Talik can come on the show. I think he just felt a way about it, and he's like, "Look, man, I don't want to be associated if she comes on the panel." And I said, "Well, I was just like just critiquing a video that she did, but I don't know, but I don't know." So then Talik brought up some old things, about what she did, and I addressed that in the video. I said, "Look, there's been some odds and things said of this in the past, but you know,
Yeah. I thought. Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
I thought that was all squash. So
yeah. I mean, I'm squashed with it, but I mean, I don't know. I like I said, I just like I said, for people who I know, I mean, I'm like I said in the video. I mean, there was some points that were made that I agreed with, and she didn't articulate it well, so I just kind of called
you
myself
were just
to it.
clarifying.
Yeah. I was clearing because I
Yeah.
knew where she was going with, but it just like when she started rambling about black people and all that, I was like, oh, okay, she gonna
Yeah.
get a lot of heat for that.
And
But
yeah,
I
and I
do
saw that in the
understand.
video, so I was trying to
Yeah,
like understand where,
yeah. So I was,
like I told Talik, man, look, like we're making progress
yeah,
with pushing out OEM. You know what I mean? Let's just keep that going. Like
yeah.
don't even worry about that other stuff. You know what I mean?
That's why I was telling him, don't, I mean, I understand, that he went through the legal stuff, with him and then his ex and all that. I get it, man. I get that. So that's why I know it, but it's shout out to Talik, man. It's like I said, it's, it's I guess it opened up old wounds and stuff like that. Cause like I said, not only did he deal with Noble, but he dealt with Aaliyah Muhammad, which Leo Muhammad was his ex-wife and she showed up. So I know there was a lot of emotional there, and I get it. You know what I'm saying? I went through some stuff, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, shit. I don't know. I just, um like I said, I'm not gonna agree. Whoever it is, I mean, if they right, I'll, and like I said, I see where she was going with it. So I called myself trying to clean it up. I knew where she was going because I know no like that. And I know what she was saying. That's why I said I don't agree with everything. That's what I told Talik, but I don't. I think he might have looked at a portion in the video. I don't think he looked at the whole thing and got the whole big picture around what I was saying. But that's why
Yeah.
I was glad I was able to clear it up tonight with Trevor because I guess when Trevor saw it, he thought I agreed with everything that was said. And I'm like, oh, no, 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 no,
Yeah.
no. So I'm glad we cleared that up. So I hope that clears up a little bit more tonight.
Yeah.
You
Because
know,
I had to watch the whole video
right,
to get an understanding.
right,
And
right.
like I said, I know we about to get ready to log off, but I'll say
Okay.
this about that whole situation. So it's funny when Brother Talik hooked up with Sister Noble
Mm-hmm.
and they start making. I ain't talking about. I don't know nothing personal. I'm just talking about what was being done with videos, right?
Yeah.
Her mannerisms were off to me. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right, right.
So I told the brother, I'm like, hey, look, man, like, it's cool. Like, I'm listening to what you're saying, but like a lot of like this ain't a good look. You know what I mean? And he
Right.
blocked me.
Oh, okay. Okay. So a lot of,
That
hey,
does more about their maturity than anything blocking people. There's no
He
point in
blocked
that.
me. So I said, whoa, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
Then not he blocked me from the channel. So I was corresponding with him via Facebook like I usually do, and I was
Okay.
just like, hey, like, ain't no ill will. I'm really looking out for your best interest. You know what I'm
Right, right,
saying?
right, right,
And
right.
sure enough, they fell out. You know what I mean? And I said, I told you, bro. You know what I mean? And he
Right,
unblocked me, and we got back cool.
right.
I was like, hey, look, man, hey, water under the bridge. Like me on the outside looking in, I could see the way she was moving and the
Hmm.
the way to me it was just the way that she talked. And you
Hmm.
could see that in the video that she made, the Queen Elizabeth video. I'm like, why? What's the
Yeah, yeah,
point? You know what I mean?
yeah.
So that's what kind of threw me off. Like I'm like, hey, like
Right, right. That's
and
why I'm
in
glad I cleared.
comparison,
Right. Yeah.
yeah, in comparison to how Angel, it's the way Angel speak and the way she speak, it don't even coexist. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Right.
that's what I was like. Hey man, like you like I don't know like what you got going on personally with her, but like you sure you want to like create content with this woman? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right. Right.
And he felt some type of way about it, and he blocked. Like I said, I didn't take it no type of way. I just said, hey, I guess he really feeling her. You know what I mean? And
Right. 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 Well,
if you're
that's why.
willing to go,
Yeah, that's why I was glad to clear it up tonight because, like I said, Trevor, like when he said that, I said, "Oh, okay," and then I didn't even, and I'm glad he explained it to the extent he explained it because I was just talking about Queen Elizabeth, like all that rambling that was done. I just kind of blocked that out. Okay, yeah, that's typical novel. Okay, but
yeah,
that Queen Elizabeth point making a good point there, and I like I said because I and that's why I'm glad Poetic Empress came on because she's from the UK. But a lot of that, what England did for the Africans here in America is swept under the rug for some reason. Like we don't want to give that acknowledgement.
yeah,
You know, I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
yeah, that was a big thing. Not only did what did African American slaves benefited, but slaves from Persia benefited, slaves from Morocco, all over the world benefited from that. Like, yo, they were like touching down, get the hell on, you know, because
yeah,
a lot,
yeah,
yeah. But the Queen put that out there, like, yo, if anybody steps on England, like, yo, we are abolishing that shit, and they are the first. They are the first to abolish slavery in the world. So,
right,
but I think black people, we shouldn't be so sensitive and so hyper aggressive against. Oh, I think we should know that history and know, and then, like I said, because even in American history, in our books, we try to hide the fact that we thought that the slaves ran to New York and Chicago, but when they ran to New York and Chicago and up north, you still had slave catchers up there bringing them back down. When they got
yeah,
past that Canadian border, it wasn't none of that. If they
yeah,
got,
yeah. You
yeah,
you
it
had
wasn't.
you had the Niagara Falls stop at in the Underground Railroad.
That's right, right.
So
But
yeah,
yeah, and not taking away nothing from those northern cities, but their destination was Alberta, Canada.
they were going north.
Right, right, and that's all because of the monarch in England. So that's all that's accurate history. But
Well,
Alberta
I
couldn't. Oh, go
I'll
ahead.
give my opinion on the goddamn monarchs, right? They
Okay.
haven't done much for a couple of hundred years. So, except
Mhm.
of touring and waving their hands and giving their opinions on stuff, they
Mhm.
haven't done much, right? Like Trevor or MD20, I don't remember. Sorry, said it's mostly their work in the media, right? That
Mhm.
that 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 did anything, right? They're the equivalent of fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? Or no. Arnold Schwarzenegger held more power than them. He was fucking governor of California, right? So
Right.
no, they're more than fucking Kenny Reeves. They're actors, right? They hold actual power, but they use it in a ceremonial way that
Right.
they won't ever, or they never went against the choice of the parliament,
Yeah,
right?
I agree. I agree.
So
Right.
it's not like they've actually done anything, right? If we wouldn't if we as people wouldn't have been able to do the good that we did, inspired by their hands waving by ourselves, if we really needed to pay millions and billions of dollars to those families to achieve what we achieved since they really lost their actual power. Ah, man, we could have done much more. At least Canada could have done much more with the money we spent on rural shit than what we did with rural shit. Right? That's
Yeah,
my opinion
yeah,
of them. I
yeah,
don't know. I don't know that they've done anything for anybody but themselves. Right?
Right.
But that's my opinion.
I totally agree with that. My only thing was the way Queen Elizabeth moved in the media was also a chess piece politically.
Yeah.
That's all I was saying. Like she did, she it was ceremonial. Everything she did was ceremonial, but the way it was portrayed in the media was able to move fronts politically in the real world. Like it hasn't been well, the only recent monarch, but it hasn't been a monarch that has been able to do that. You know what I mean? And I don't think her predecessor is going to be able to do that.
No,
You know what I
and
mean?
Yeah.
I,
Right.
I agree with you on the inherent good that what she did might have done, or the inherent bad. That's all depends of opinion
Yeah,
at the end of the day.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I,
King
I, I do
Charles is a
believe
dumbass.
that for
I'll
as
say
far
that.
Well,
as credit that we can give them, those people, I think that if someone that would have done the same thing without being in a role position and without costing billions of dollars to different nations combined, would have been much more impressive than someone who at least she did that, right? Considering what
Yeah,
she cost the world. So yeah,
King. Like I
that's a
said,
matter of at least she did that rather than, oh wow, how great she is for having done that, right?
King,
But someone that
His
lived in
Majesty.
filth and sacrificed his life for those principles, that would be different, right?
I
well,
understand.
I'm gonna say this as my closing. I think look like King Charles III. Look like he gonna die tomorrow, man. That's all I gotta say.
You won't have time to
Hey,
do
Look like
anything.
you said it wrong, man. His Majesty King Charles III is a very articulate, very well educated dumbass. Is what he is.
Yeah, he get the little pens.
well,
Definitely, the only thing I've seen from him is two times where he got mad at pens. So
well, MD, no, it don't even look like he gonna make it till tomorrow. I'm
Yeah,
talking about his health. Hey, you talking about? I'm talking about his health, man. That dude look like he
yeah.
gonna fall over, man.
I believe in my lifetime. Well, hell, I definitely in my lifetime. William will go to
Yeah,
the throne,
I
but
would.
it may be sooner than later.
I second that. I second that definitely.
And like I said, when William gets on the throne, I believe that's when you're going to start seeing a more progressive take in terms of the monarchy. That's when it's really going to take
Start
effect.
to take
You
off. Right.
couldn't really do like Elizabeth was kind of teetering with it because she saw the sign of the time,
Yeah.
but Elizabeth was like, "Hey, look, like this is my duty. This is how we roll. This is what I'm gonna do. You know, I'm gonna do my visits here. Everything is a
Mhm.
political move because, like I said, see, she was, and correct me if I'm wrong, but in terms of how her and her terms of the with the prime minister took effect, she moved hand in hand, especially in those earlier periods. Like she was it. Like her and the prime minister, whether it was Thatcher or
Yeah.
hell, even back, you know what I mean? Like they was moving and shaking,
Yeah, they were.
especially her and Thatcher.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know
Thatcher.
what I'm
Oh
saying?
man. Whew. Yeah.
Like
She.
they was moving and shaking, and sometimes they was butting head. Like we just talked about the crown being, a ceremonial figure. You couldn't
Yeah.
tell that to Elizabeth once she was bumping head with Thatcher
That's right.
because they was
oh no,
bumping
but
head.
no, that's the point, right? It's not a ceremonial position, but it's been played as a ceremonial position for a very long time, and that was my next question. Actually, is what if? Do you think a monarch that we know of exist, except maybe the kids. They don't have a personality yet. Do you think that one of them will one day decide to say, "Fuck it, I'm not just gonna be a rock star. I'm actually gonna use the power that I have," right?
Yeah.
And do you think that the different societies that could be affected by that, Canada being one of them, do you think that would stand for it, or that would be the death of monarchy?
Well, I believe that'll be a parliamentary fight. You know what I mean?
What
Especially,
if
and it really is going to all depend on which party is in power at that point. You know, I'm not no expert in parliamentary government by all means. I'm American. You know what I mean? So, but
Right.
I do understand that there are different social political
Parliament wouldn't
platforms.
have any power to do anything? In Canada, we might. It would be complicated because even if we tried to vote ourselves out of monarchy, technically we'd still need royal assent for it
Oh,
to be okay. So
Right.
the monarch would have, or we could just say fuck off and start a war over it. And then it would depend if the monarch went to go to war over it, right? But in England, I don't know. I'm not English, but I think that there's a definite split in the sentiment where the people might play a role, right? Because what if uh, the monarch puts its foot down, right, and decide to use its power for something that's of popular desire and that the government doesn't want to put into place, right? So there you've got the people that could rise up against the parliament too, right? So would that be a time where you think people would go back under monarchy, saying, "Well, shit, kings are fun when they go against democracy, and that's what we want," but the parliament doesn't get it done, right? Or you think that would say, "No, no, 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 that's power you haven't been used in 200 years. You shouldn't start using it now," right? How do you think would we react about that? Would we hold the system, would we want them to hold their ceremonial role at all cost, right? Or would we clamor to the royals when our parliament doesn't satisfy us?
well, going back to Elizabeth recognized Ghana as an independent nation.
Yeah.
Well, and Barbados did it recently, right? So there's still country taking the decision to cut ties. But in most times, the royals right now just say, "Okay, fuck it, you're free to do whatever the fuck you want," right? But that's the question. What if we had a monarch that wasn't about that and said, "Well, I'm king." God, at some point, we believed decided that. I believe I am a God-appointed king, right? Absolute monarchy. So let's play the game, right? Let's play it not as a chess move in the media. Let's try and use those lands that we own and say no to laws that we can say no to, because they can't force a law, but they can say fuck your law though.
Yeah,
Shit,
I
they can
mean,
kill
yeah,
people technically, right?
yeah,
So
they can absolutely do that. I'm not saying that they can't, but I'm saying the
here's
way.
something bad that Elizabeth did. She killed Diana, right?
Oh man,
Oh boy. Here we go. All right,
oh
Alex
man.
Jones. All right, Alex Jones. Not joking.
I don't know nothing about that. I'm just
Well, she
saying.
she played a role in that. Again, it was all about how the media perceived the royal family, right? So
Yeah.
in that aspect, if you want to say she killed Diana, that'll be like valid. You know
I
what I'm
wasn't
saying?
Right,
born,
right.
I think, so I don't know nothing about that. I just know
Oh, you that young?
the memes, right?
She was she died in what, 97, I think?
Oh, okay. I was born. I was just
Mm,
very young.
Yeah, I mean, I was young too. I was like 12, 13.
Shit, I thought it was in like the mid '80s that she died.
No, no, no.
No, 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 no. It was later than that.
So
Yeah.
she was
They
she
got
just
married. They
looked
got
like
married
she
in the
was in
80s.
the mid '80s. Then she didn't have a very high fashion sense.
Yes, they got married in the 80s.
Yeah.
Like, hey man, back in the 90s, man, Diana was all the rage, man. You know,
Yep. Sure was. Yep. Yep.
like as far as fashion and
Yep.
like Diana was it. That's
Yep.
all you used to hit, especially when all the events that led up to her death.
Yeah.
That's all that was on TV was Diana.
Yep.
I wasn't even 10 years old, so I really don't know. I wouldn't be in a good place to judge fashion at that time. I would I would imagine. But yeah, no, I know that. So what I'm gonna sound ignorant right now, but I've never really cared much about the royal family. If I hadn't made it clear before, what did she do to be so popular? Right? She was just like
She was Diana,
rebels.
man. She was
Okay,
Diana,
she
and,
was
and
Diana.
in the media's eyes, she was a beautiful white woman.
Right.
That was being mistreated by
Mhm.
the quote
By
unquote
other white
royal
people.
family.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Well, and her story too was she was a rag to riches girl. Meaning she was a commoner and she married into the family, so that was a big deal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So she was a she she was a peasant. Okay, I get
yeah,
it.
yeah,
I
basically, yeah,
completely get it now.
yeah, yeah. But because of the rags to riches, that was real big in the 80s and 90s too. Rags to riches, so that was like, she came up. She was just a regular person. So
So
that kind of.
who tried to marry her?
Who was that, MD?
Yeah, it was some Arab guy.
Yeah,
Damn, what was that guy's name, man?
No,
yeah.
but the royal who married her, who tried
Oh,
to have her.
Charles.
Oh,
Charles,
Charles did marry
Charles.
her. Yeah,
Yeah,
Charles
Charles.
married
the
her.
guy who's king
But
right now.
Yeah.
yeah,
That motherfucker. Oh shit.
but he didn't want her. He wanted Camilla. Like he was in love
Yeah.
with Camilla since he was a teenager.
Yep.
So why
But
did
it
he
was so
get her then?
crazy. It was so crazy because Camilla was married
Yep.
to the Parker Bowles guy, but the Parker Bowles guy was screwing Charles' sister,
Yep.
and Charles was screwing Camilla.
Yep.
Fucking
They were all
aristocrats,
married.
man. Oh, fuck, man.
And they was
Yeah,
all
they
married.
need to go. What the fuck are we trying to praise those fucking people, man?
Yeah, it was crazy, man. Hey, I'm telling you that royal family is something else, man.
Yeah, man. Oh shit. Man.
Yeah, what's Charles' sister name? Damn, what's her name?
Oh, you talking about 5? Damn. Oh, damn. That
I
was
forget her
man.
name, but yeah, she was screwing Camilla's husband, and Camilla was screwing Charles. And they were married. Like it was. I was like, what the hell going on?
They swinging.
And like I said, I believe when Parker Bowles died, that's when Camilla married Charles. It was something like that. He either died or they got divorced. I don't know. No, they couldn't have got divorced because he can't be king with a divorced wife. Damn, did he die? Something happened to him.
Something happened. You know what? Damn.
And then that's when she finally got with Charles. The only reason they didn't marry before because she was already betrothed to that guy. You know what I mean? Like she's in a higher up family too. And the Parker Bowles was a higher up family.
Them to get together, two people had to die. And one of them in mysterious circumstances. The other one, was it pretty clear that it was something clear, or
right,
might have been killed too?
Yeah, because I believe in British culture, you can't be king and married. You can't have a queen consort to a divorced wife. You know what I mean?
Didn't Henry the head cutter change that?
I don't know.
Henry the Eighth that was cutting his wife. Oh no, that might be why
Henry
he did
VIII.
it, because I can divorce them, so let's just kill them.
Well, Henry VIII, that's who established his own churches, the Church of England, because he defected from the Pope because the Pope wouldn't divorce. He's like, nah.
Which
God
the one
wouldn't
kept
like.
killing his wife because they couldn't give him a male heir.
Yeah, King Henry VIII. Yeah,
That's him too. Okay.
Yeah, that's him. That's him. Yeah, that's he comes from the House of Tudors. Yeah, the House of Tudors. So yeah, man. Hey, man. Yo, we done went over 2 hours, man. Yo, man, we got to do this again, MD Zanzi. We got to do this again, man. I hope.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Most definitely. Like I said, once my schedule gets back like in the groove, like I'll be getting around. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, because we gonna need help with that reparations, bro. Because once we get into that, we got it. Yeah, we gonna have to have all hands on deck. You, Nature Mom, me. We gonna have to hold that down.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
We got to hold that down. Yeah. So and Zanzi, man, we got Zanzi's thing on Sunday, so we definitely got to do that. So yeah, Saturday, Sunday, man, let's do this, y'all. Shit. Yeah.
Cool.
Shout out.
Cool.
Yeah. Shout out to I see you, Yanga. I see you, Yanga. Shout out to Jesse, man. Shout out to Twin. Shout out to Poetic Empress. Shout out to shout out to Nyame. Shout out to you, MD. Shout out to you, Zanzi, man. Shout out to Trevor for showing up, man. Hey, man, we out. See y'all Saturday. Peace.
Peace.
Peace out, man.
All right, y'all.